This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Many countries have spoken out against the situation, but on the ground, there's a lack of services and there is a serious need.
As the war rages on, many Oregonians are finding ways to support Ukrainians from right here at home and at the Polish border. Coming up, you're going to meet the man who's driving refugees to safety. Then March Madness begins today at the Moda Center. We're going to have a look ahead at the matchups and what the big event means for the Rose City. And of course, I have my green on. Chris, you can't wear your green with the green wall, but we are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Drew,
this is an Irish color, right?
is out at the brewery on Northwest 21st Avenue in Uptown. Yes. Good morning. Cheers, my friend.
Good morning there, my friends. Top of the morning to you, as a matter of fact. We are getting ready for a big celebration here today. It's St. Paddy's Day, Kells Annual Irish Festival back. And look who I have with me at this bright and early hour of the day. The man behind Kells, Jared McAleese, pouring a couple of beers. We've got the Kells Irish Stout for one. And perhaps, before the morning is through, we'll pour a Guinness for Mr. Chris McGinnis. I'll have more with Jared coming up here shortly. But Chris, I know you've got the weather forecast today. What do you have?
I'm like the beer without the U. That's
yes,
how my name
exactly.
is spelled. That's how I always tell people to spell my name, and they're like, "How do you spell that?" Because there's 80 different ways to spell it. Let's get to the wall right now and show you what's coming our way. We've got cloud cover moving in right now, and eventually those clouds will yield some rain. Rain targeting the western Washington coast right now. That rain will slide southward during the day, so we are going to get a little wet here in Portland, but this rain doesn't look like too big of a deal later this afternoon. 39. Let's check at PDX. Let's track the rain for you with Futurecast. Maybe some sprinkles at the coast between now and noon. That wet weather will slowly work its way inland into the afternoon hours. This rain, again, does not look terribly heavy, but at least, keep the rain gear handy because you'll probably need it at some point this afternoon and especially this evening, and that's the plan. By lunchtime, we're up to near 50 degrees, and I think we finish off the day in the lower 50s. Nina, we've got a pretty good shot of rain coming in tomorrow night, and then spring and some serious warmth in my 7-day forecast. More on that in just a bit.
Yeah, I am excited for that. All right, Chris, thank you. We'll see you soon. We want to get to an overnight fire that destroyed a home in North Portland. Check out this video. You can see firefighters getting there, flames just pouring through the roof. And actually, a woman scrambled up to the roof to escape the fire inside. Firefighters rescued her. She was taken to the hospital to get checked out. This all started at 1:30 this morning on North Flint Avenue. It's a block south of Emmanuel Hospital. Portland firefighters brought in their ladder truck to get the flames under control. We don't know how it started yet. Investigators will be out there today looking into that. There are some streets still blocked in that area. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Now to the latest in Ukraine, because there are 3 million refugees and counting, and Portlanders are stepping up to help. People are raising money for clean clothes, food, and to help bring people to safety. Catherine Cook shows us how.
Red, white, yellow, blue, and brew. At Threshold Brewing and Blending in Southeast Portland, people lined up, eager to raise money for Ukrainian refugees crossing into Poland. The brewery's owner is Polish. So is Ivana Erb.
Donate, donate, donate.
She organized the fundraiser.
It's very emotional for me to even think, because for centuries actually Poland was the Ukraine before. All the battles, all the wars were always in Poland.
This is the Ukrainian-Polish connection.
From George Jankowski, who came to the U.S. from Poland 40 years ago.
Anything I can chip in.
To Sheila Lipschutz, whose grandmother was born in Kyiv. They're all here to do something, anything, to help.
We may not all be able to go there and, lend humanitarian boots on the ground, but from our corner of the world we can do and we can show that what's in our heart and support people as best as we can.
So we're on our way to the Polish border.
And then there are the few who can put boots on the ground.
I would say emotionally it's been challenging.
For the last week, Hunter Baldridge, who grew up in Portland, has been in Krakow, driving refugees across the Ukrainian border in a rental car. He's a graduate student in Spain and felt compelled to help. So far, he's taken about 30 people to safety.
Tomorrow morning, we're going to get up and we try and do about 3 runs.
Each round trip is 5 hours.
2 nights ago, we transported a mom with her 2-month-old baby. her 5-year-old daughter, and she had a heavy bag with her and she was by herself. The things that they've gone through, the things that they've seen are things that I can't even begin to fathom.
Hunter says most people helping along the border are volunteers from around the world. He wants more people to know what's happening here.
You see on the news that you think that the world's in solidarity with this, and many countries have spoken out against the situation, but on the ground, there's a lack of services, and there is a serious need for actual serious disaster response here, because this is a disaster.
Back in Southeast Portland, donations continue to roll in. The pride in these flags and compassion in these hearts, uniting from a world away.
We love it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Fundraising efforts will go on long after folks here go home tonight, but you can see donation information is available anytime. We'll post it on KGW.com so you can check it out and share with your friends. In Southeast Portland, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Well, fundraising efforts are also underway in Vancouver to help a family feeding thousands of people inside Ukraine. Ivan Sobovi, who's lived here for 2 decades, started a fundraiser for his uncle Andriy, who works as a baker in Ukraine. With the help of money raised right here, Andriy and a team of volunteers have been baking bread and making soup and getting it out to thousands in need, all while living very close to the sounds of shelling and gunfire.
Front line is 10 kilometers from us, so it's very close. When we're sitting at home, our windows are shaken from explosions. And like 10-15 kilometers from here, some villages are flattened completely.
Andriy is also stockpiling supplies should things turn even worse. So far, they've raised over $100,000. There are National Guard members in Poland right now, including some from Oregon. But the military says it's part of a training mission that's been going on well since before the invasion. In total, 125 members from Oregon left for Poland just after the new year. These are photos from their deployment January 2nd. This group is part of the Operation Atlantic Resolve. Active duty and reserve National Guard rotate to Poland with equipment to help train the Polish military.
They definitely are doing different missions within that training, but it's still a training exercise, and they're there to support Poland and support the unified command.
The troops who are there now will spend the next 7 months in Poland before returning to Oregon in the fall. We have a special section on KGW.com when it comes to the crisis in Ukraine. Just text the word Ukraine to 503-226-5088. We will text you back a link where you can find the latest on what's happening and information on local fundraisers. Now to the pandemic. So COVID numbers, they're low, mask mandates gone. Many Oregonians feeling a sense of relief after 2 years of a global pandemic. But are we fully out of the woods? Right now, the Multnomah County Health Department is cautiously optimistic. They're keeping a close eye on how lifting the mask mandate could impact cases and how a new COVID strain could play a role. That strain you may have heard is called Omicron BA2. It's driving a rise in cases across Europe, and experts say it's more transmissible than the original Omicron. Despite that, officials here at home believe BA2 isn't as concerning based on what they've seen so far.
In areas where we have a lot of immunity, both from vaccination and from an Omicron surge, that they're not really seeing much of an impact from BA2.
And don't throw away those masks. While health officials don't believe we'll revert back to restrictions, masks may be recommended in the future. The FBI is asking for help finding a missing, possibly endangered woman from Clark County, and they believe she may be somewhere in Idaho. Marisol Cortez was last seen November 4th last year in Battleground. Her brother Adrian says she has epilepsy, autism, and is nonverbal. Adrian believes Marisol is likely with their brother and estranged mother. He thinks they ran off with her after a Clark County judge appointed him as his sister's legal guardian. Their mother, Martha, was her caretaker before, but he says he petitioned after his mom became unable and unwilling to give Marisol proper care.
I had spoken to her on multiple occasions letting her know we need to develop a plan because she's not going to, be able to be as participatory in taking care of some of Marisol's needs.
Adrian says when they fled, they forgot to take her medication and safety gear. You can see Marisol has dark hair and brown eyes. She wears glasses. She could be wearing a helmet as well. Anyone with information should contact the FBI. Okay, let's have some fun because March Madness kicks off today. And in Portland, we want to take a live look at the Moda Center, where in just a few hours, thousands of fans will come together to cheer on some of the best teams in NCAA basketball. Okay, here's a rundown of the schedule here locally. Memphis taking on Boise State at 10:45. Then at 1:15, Georgia State playing #1 Gonzaga. At 4:20, St. Mary's takes on Indiana. Then it's Akron and UCLA at 6:50. On Saturday, not here in Portland, the University of Oregon women's team will make their 5th straight appearance in the tournament. They're going to play Belmont out in Knoxville, Tennessee. If the Ducks win, they're going to play again on Monday. Orlando Sanchez is covering all the action this afternoon. You'll see him on KGW News at 4 and 6:30. You can also find the full schedule at our website. Are you into March Madness, Chris?
A little bit. I mean, I just like looking up and seeing
it's
nothing
fun to
but
have games
wall-to-wall
on. Yep.
basketball and people just kind of chilling out, maybe having a beer, hanging out on a Thursday afternoon. It is, I think more so for me, is that as a weather person, it's also kind of coincides with the arrival of
spring. Yes.
and so I put the two together and I'm like, it's a good time of the year. March is a great month for a lot of reasons, right? Today though, it's going to get a little wet eventually. Right now, a live look from our Rose City Sky camera, of course, pointed at the Moda Center. You can see I-5 there in the foreground as well. 39 last check at PDX. And elsewhere across the region right now, waking up to temperatures in the upper 30s. Beaverton, King City sits at 35, same story Hillsborough. And the big picture here statewide, nobody terribly cold. The cold spot that I could find right now, Burns checking in with 19, Baker City 21. Despite the cold start in eastern Oregon, you folks should be getting into the low 50s this afternoon. Check this out. Baker City gets up to 50. Up and down the I-5 corridor today, generally in the low to mid 50s for highs. But as I mentioned, with those 50-degree temperatures will come some rain later today. So let's track it for you with Futurecast. You can see rainfall offshore. That's going to be rolling onshore as we go through the day today. And Futurecast has some green blobs on the map here, probably before lunchtime at the Oregon coast. That'll roll inland this afternoon. And again, you can see the spotty nature of these. This rain's not going to be terribly heavy, and it's not going to be like all day or anything like that, but just be prepared for the on and off shower threat through this evening. We probably squeeze out quite a bit of dry time tomorrow before a bigger slug of moisture comes in late tomorrow night and early Saturday. So if you've got plans to be out early Saturday morning, that's going to be kind of a soaker here before things finally dry out. Here's our weekend forecast. Rain tapers to showers tomorrow, Saturday, 51 on Saturday, 51 on Sunday with showers and sun breaks. I mentioned some spring-like warmth in our forecast. Well, after all, Drew, it will be spring on Sunday, so that's nice. But we're talking upper 60s.
Good point, Chris.
Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Hey, why don't we focus on today for starters? Because today, Chris, of course, is St. Patrick's Day, and they're celebrating at Kells downtown and right here at their brewery on Northwest 21st. So we've got the beers out. I kind of thought, you know what, with Chris McGinnis in the house today, maybe we pour him a Guinness. But that is not a Guinness, my friends. That is a Kells Irish Stout. More from the brewery, more on Kells Irish Festival next here on Sunrise.